Hello, and welcome to Ideas That Elevate. This is the second video of a series where we explore the question of how do we make money from home during the COVID lockdown? Now, many years ago, I was a student under a Canadian professor who I can only remember as Jane, Professor Jane. She had spent a lifetime studying superhuman achievement. So she shared with me many ideas that just completely blew me away, and they unlocked my mind to see things that frankly, other people just don't. It changed me forever, and it taught me how ideas can transform us. So tag along as I pass these ideas on to you today. I'm Anthony Rehana, and this is Ideas that Elevate, brought to you by Yo2C and Rehana Fanu. So here's the first idea. I want to talk about the power of ideas and the power of perspective and how it can transform you and your possibilities and your options. Ideas are that powerful. So looking at this thing here, I want to ask, how many squares do you see? Now, I know these squares are not quite perfect squares, so, we don't have to worry about that. I just scribbled this up by hand, basically. Take a moment and count them out. All right, now I'm going to flip the panel in a second, and I'm going to give you some clues to think about. I'm going to flip this the slide in a second, but I'd like you to just write down how many squares you see. All right, now I've got some numbers down the side. Do your numbers match any of these? Now I might ask you, well, how many squares do you see now? Are you looking for a way for these numbers to match up? Now, I'm not saying any of these are valid or invalid, but these are some of the answers that we get. Now I'm going to move on. Can you see more squares? Okay, now have a close look at this picture and tell me how many squares you see now. Is it the same as the number you originally wrote? Yeah, if you look up close, you can see this square, for example, is on the inside of the black lines. This one is on the outside. This little square here, or this one here, is just in the intersection. Every intersection creates a square, doesn't it? So how many squares do you see now? Is it more than you originally saw? Okay, I'm going to flip this panel once more. But before I do, write down your number. All right, let's have a look at this. Well, we've got a big green diamond here. Is that not a square? And remember, I said they don't have to be perfect squares. What about this triangle and this triangle? Or this triangle and maybe this triangle here and this triangle here? Are not two triangles, if you add them together, are they not squares? I know I'm getting ridiculous here, but the challenge here is to answer the question, how many squares do you see? And really what we're talking about is how far can you stretch your imagination? Because that's how many squares you can see. And that's why there's probably an infinite number of squares here, if you take this perspective. How much greater is that than what you originally thought? You get the power of a perspective, the power of an idea. It can totally expand and broaden the world as you see it. If I was in a room and someone threw this up and said, how many squares do you see? And I started going, I can see an infinite number of squares, or, probably closer to about 5,000. People would just go, well, who's this idiot? It's kind of how it is with when you expand your perspectives, when you're able to see the world in ways that other people can't see. They start thinking you're nuts. They don't, I've struggled with this quite often, with trying to present ideas that other people don't get. It's very frustrating for me, but can be sometimes. But anyway, there's not so much now. I just accept it that, I'm seeing things that other people don't see. All right, fair enough. But they're powerful things, and they can expand your possibilities. This is what ideas do, and this is why grandmasters are up in the 1% and everyone else is in the 99. And this is what this picture is about. The nice thing about great ideas is that once you're infected with them, you are changed forever. Will you ever look at these things the same again? You're going to see squares where nobody sees anything of the sort. And of course, they'll be like, oh, you're cheating. No, you're not cheating. Because the rules were to see as much as you can by whatever means possible. If you can see a different way of creating a square, that's valid. That's what you see. Okay, so take a look at this picture. Do you see a young lady or an old lady? kind of interesting how you can, once you see one, it becomes so much easier to, I should say, once you see the alternative, it becomes so much easier to see that, Um, if you focus your eye here on this part, this line here, what do you see? If you sort of zoom back, can you see the old lady's face, her mouth and her eye? If you focus on this spot here, can you see the young lady's face? This is one of the things about perspectives. Multiple people can look at the same data and see different things. That's a very real thing. But again, my point with this picture is that once you're infected, you're forever changed. Sometimes for some people, once they see the other image, they can't see the original. It becomes very difficult to switch between one and the other. Their mind falls on to one type of image. But anyway, this is the magic of perspectives and ideas. I want you to try and exercise for me right now. Have a look at this picture and look around, take it in, capture whatever details you can about it. It's a football stadium. There's lots of people. Okay. Have you taken it in? All right. Now I want you to do something for me. I want you to close your eyes and visualize that scene. Now tell me, with your eyes closed, how many green shirts do you see? Can you count any? All right. Now I want you to open your eyes again and look around. How many green shirts do you see now? There's quite a lot of them, right? They're all over the place. In fact, they're everywhere. And now as you look around this scene, you probably have quite an easy time seeing these green shirts. But while your eyes were closed and you didn't have the thought to look for them, it was very difficult to see any of them, right? When you don't know what to look for, you don't see things. But when you know what to look for, you can see the patterns appear all over the place. This is, again, one of the power of ideas. Not only do they broaden your perspectives, but they empower you in ways to see things that are normally not to be seen. And so what we're going to do is as we explore some ideas, I'm going to share some principles and some ideas with you that will change what you're looking for. And they will enable you to see opportunities that are not available to the 99% to anybody, because they just don't know what to look for. They don't know what to go for. They don't know, well, if a green shirt was the way to make millions of dollars, right? And you didn't know to look for them, you're just not going to see them. And that's the point. Okay, take a look at this picture. What do you see here? And what's the lesson to be learned there? Well, it looks like we've got a rich guy up here being towed by some dollars, and we got a guy working pretty damn hard, and he's towing some dollars. The concept here is that there's two types of money, and there's two ways to treat money. Now, there's a lot of talk about money is the root of all evil, and what were we taught about money? Not a lot. I know I wasn't taught this by anybody. I had to go and find this out. And then when I found this picture, I was just like, oh, this is such an awesome picture because it illustrates the concept so well. There's two types of money: money that works for you and money that you work for. Now, I believe that the 99%, they work for money. They don't have a lot of money that works for them. For whatever reasons, maybe it's survival or whatever. Now, I hope I don't lose people here and offend people, but it's just the way it is for us, right? For most of my life, I've lived without money that works for me. Money is just, what I use to survive and sort of conduct, whatever, just pay bills, whatever. Even when I had a business, this is the thing, one of the things that I find ironic is that even when I had a business, the money in my business, I had this vague idea that, well, this is money that needs to work for the business. Even then, I did not have a clear distinction between money that I work for and money that works for me. In fact, most of my efforts in my career were to work for money. I would go off and try and create, try to make a contract or get into a contract where I'm producing some type of product. And they were big deals, My first really successful enterprise, I made a deal to produce 1,000 units at $3,000 per unit. So it's a $3 million deal, but I'm still approaching that business where I'm working for the money. What followed was a whole lot of work where we produced and built this product. But there was another guy over the side, and he had a bunch of money, and that money was going to work for him because he made a deal with me. He's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I've got this guy. He wants to pay $3 million for 1,000 units. It's going to cost me about $1.5 million to make them. And I need that money. He's like, well, I've got the money. Here it is. And his money goes to work. But he's like, but I'm going to want something out of that. And so, he wants to double his money. Basically, you're talking about a break-even situation for me, really. But I got a whole lot of customers, and then we got future deals. And then actually, it wasn't that much money that he lent. It was only $400,000. But that's all I needed to get the 3 million in. Anyway, still, this is a broken mentality, a broken business mentality. I'm thinking about working for the money because that's what I was taught. That's what my education taught me. Grow up, get a good education, get a job. But this guy over here, he's got this bankroll and he's looking for deals and for how can he put that money to work and make a profit on that. And then he's going to take his larger pile and put it into other things. So he's the rich guy financing my business and he's got working capital or a bankroll and he's trying to grow that. And I'm over there running this business, working hard for my money. And I worked hard. I worked 20-hour days, and I did that for, probably at least 20 years of 20-hour days, 7 days a week, round the clock, just working really hard. And I felt like just a plate spinner. But as I was going through that, I kept looking over to these other guys, my financiers and business partners, and these other guys, and I'm like, they're playing the game different. And it wasn't for quite some time before I realized, working capital. They're taking a pile of money and they're just trying to grow it. There was one guy I worked with, this guy Hampton, and from a very small amount of money, he would fly over to Japan and buy video game boards, put them in a suitcase, and fly back to America and then sell them at a profit. Well, he was picking them up for like $500 a pop in Japan, and he'd get back into America and he could sell them for 3,000 to 5,000 because they were hot and everyone wanted them. Talking about back when Street Fighter 2 was the thing. So he just kept taking his bigger and bigger bankroll, going back, buying more and more product and selling it. I saw so many guys doing this, making millions. I saw there's a guy, Brad, who lived down in San Diego. We used to go visit him. I watched that guy go from a bankrupt person to a multimillionaire, just buying products, marking them up, adding value to them, building a base of customers. Each time he sold a product, he found a person that wanted those types of products. And so when he got new products, he had someone he could easily sell that product to. He bought advertising to build his customer base, but he got to the point where he had thousands of people like this, and he could just ship products to them. To this day, he still does something like this, and makes tons of money. But the whole name of the game is to build your working capital. And so I started to realize, this is a good idea for your business. You're trying to expand your working capital for your business. It also is a great strategy for individuals. I watched multiple individuals become millionaires while I was working my butt off producing these products. Now, I'm making video games. I made many video games in my days, and I made great video games that were, they're pretty average to look at video games, and I won't bother pulling them up, but maybe I should. Hang on. Ghost Hunter, Hanaho, just to show you how basic. Here's one here. Right, see how basic. I don't want to see no ad. I hate that about them. Images. Okay, this is Ghost Hunter. That's the screenshot of it. There's a brochure and things like that. This game was a killer game. I'd made about, at this point I was making about $1.5 million a year with these games. Now the amount of work. See, this Ghost Hunter game board. I had a friend Barry Jones who designed that circuit board, but I took his design and I reworked it, and so I developed my personal ability to where I can build electronic circuit boards, and I created all the artwork here and the animation of all these ghosts and things, and I wrote all the software and all the music and the sound, and I even made this brochure here. Incredible amount of work and huge effort. But meanwhile, after I'd spent months putting this together and creating a concept and testing it in the arcades, these other guys came along. After I'd tested and proven this product could make easily $1,000 to $2,000 per week in an arcade for anyone who owned it. If I could give you something that made you $2,000 a week, what would you be willing to pay for that? You know what I mean? And it's without a doubt, you're going to take this machine, put it into an arcade location, it's going to make $2,000 a week for you. What are you willing to pay? Well, most people would be willing to pay 6 weeks of those earnings. Makes $2,000 a week. 6 weeks of that's $12,000. They'd pay $12,000 for that. That's easy, a $12,000 value. But you come back to them and say, hey, but you can have it for 6. How many of those do you think I could sell? I'll give you a machine that earns $2,000 per week, and you can have it for $6,000. Man, you're going to scrounge up every bit of money you've got and buy as many of them as you can. And that's what I went to the market with. But it's a lot of work for me. And the thing is, the numbers were collected. The cash box was analyzed, and this was I've been developing games for 7 years before I finally was able to produce something like that. I can show you a long list of games that were just terrible. And I can tell you though, that game was no accident. That game was designed with an acute awareness of what the market needed, what the players wanted, and the psychology of the players. It was no accident that game was created. It was the second in a series of games like it, and the other game was just as successful. This one was more so. So where I'm going with all this is huge investment and effort on my behalf to create that product. There were these other guys, and these are the guys that I want to bring to your attention. These other guys who sat on the side and put no money in, no investment, no nothing, and watched what happened. And as soon as that thing started showing figures of earning $2,000 per week plus, they stepped up and pulled their money out of their pocket and said, hey, I'll take 10 of those. I'll take 100 of them. And I'll pay, how much do you want for them? And I'm like, well, I'll take $3,000. They're like, all right, you got it. Here's the money. They didn't put any money down until that thing had proven itself, until they knew, that thing's making X thousand dollars per week. I can buy it for $3 and I can sell it for $6. Those were the guys that I watched go from being bankrupt to multimillionaires, because they would come to people like me with proven product, buy that product and sell it at a profit. And they could buy that product from me on a Monday morning and have them all sold, money in the bank, sold by Wednesday. They'd be calling me again. Hey, can I get another? I got 10 last week, 10 on Monday. Can you put me down for another 20? Their numbers doubled because their bankroll doubled within a space of a few days. By the end of the week, they're calling up going, hey, can you get me another 40? Because I'll send you the money. Get me the next 40 and I'll send you the money. And, next thing it was 100. And that's how they went from being broke to multimillionaires, from not just from my product, but many products like it. Meanwhile, it took me like 20 products for me to actually get to that winning product. But these guys, they didn't invest in the 19 failures. They were sitting on the side waiting for the winner to come. And so my point here is that this is one of the strategies that they applied, and this is how I watch people go from broke to millions. Now, okay, so the reason I'm telling you about these guys that were becoming millionaires from buying and selling my product is that the strategy that they used back then to grow their working capital is exactly the same as the strategy that people are using today. And the difference, though, is that the tools that they had at their disposal were nothing like the tools that we have today. Here's an example of one of those tools, and I'll just flick through a few of them. I don't want to get into it too deep. I just want to sort of touch upon it so that you've got an idea of what's available. So here's an example of one of those tools, Ecom Hunt. They have a free option, a free trial and things. Basically, it will find products and tell you how much that product is selling for versus what it will cost you. It'll give you an idea of who's supplying the product, where you can find it, who's buying the product. It'll give you an idea of what advertisements are being placed and where they're being placed. Are they on Google? Are they on YouTube? Are they on Facebook? Are they on other websites? It'll give you the videos and images and rank them and rate them and tell you which ones have been more successful. It'll give you, very important, it'll give you the demographic about the people who are making the purchases. You'll know, are they male? Are they female? How old are they? Are they, where are they located? Things like this. Let's see what their demo shows us. So here's a pineapple slicer. So the product cost of this product is $3. You can acquire it for $3 and sell it for 13, and you make $10 profit. If I told you, give me $3 and I'll give you $13 for every $3 you've got, how much money would you give me? So these are, and I'm not here to sell Ecom Hunt. I'm just saying that these types of tools are out there. Here's another one, Ad Sector. This thing will cost you around $300 a month, I think. What are they saying? 300 odd. Okay, that might seem like a bit of money, but if you've got a tool that is able to give you that kind of information, like, so what products are hot, what aren't, I know where I can get it, I know people want it, I know exactly how much people want it, I can throw thousands of dollars into advertising on this product, and I know that I'm going to make sales. Now, I worry with these things, what if everyone's doing it already? And they are, right? But they're making money out of it. And I believe the way that we take advantage of this stuff is we have a look at, okay, what's working, what could be done better, what could be done differently. Maybe the product is very popular in YouTube, but there's not a lot of action on Google. And why would that be? Well, maybe whoever's marketing it doesn't really know Google that well. Maybe there's opportunity on Facebook, which is not likely. It's probably very popular on Facebook. More likely, popular on Facebook, not very well promoted on YouTube. That's a more likely scenario. And that then gives you an opportunity to market into those locations. Here's another website, ClickBank. ClickBank is an affiliate site where people provide products and services, and they offer the option for you to partner with them and split the revenue. And we'll talk more about that later. But again, they have analysis built in where there's an example there, this gravity score. The higher the gravity score, the more that product is converting. Here's a 264. If you've got a gravity over 100, you've got a pretty good product. And this guy is up here at 690. So it's a product that's converting easily and generating good revenue. $100 per sale. So that's another sort of spy technique for investigating what's working, what isn't. AdSpy is another tool. So the point is that there's all these advertisement spying tools that allow you to see just how effective are all those ads that are popping up on your Facebook page. Actually, Facebook has a tool as well, which is interesting, Facebook Ad Library, and it will show you all of the advertisements that are running on their website. Let's say, I don't know, I'm going to pull something out of my backside here. Car insurance. Is there anything that is active? I guess they call it auto insurance, but here's one. That's not it. Auto insurance is more likely, right? Americans, I think, want auto. Why are almost all of these are political ones? Ah, that's why. Search all. Actually, let's try this. Diet. Oh, they want me to use advertiser name. Okay, let's do keto. Ads from keto. All right, so if we go down the bottom, the further back we go, the older the ads. So here's one that started in June. So you have to figure if an advertisement has been running since June and is active, this thing is working. This is an effective advertisement. They're paying money for people to click on this thing. And if we click on it and we go through and have a look at what is it that they're actually, how are they promoting it? And we can see they're doing a survey technique. Zik Analytics is another tool, interesting tool, that monitors eBay exclusively and will tell you what products on eBay are successful and are not. Now that can be a very handy thing if you can find products and you know where you can source them, because not everyone on eBay is selling products that they're pulling out of their closet and from out of a second-hand store. A lot of the products are coming from manufacturers and suppliers that are all over the world. So there are products you can pick up in China, products you can pick up in America, even some products you can pick up from department stores, overage and stuff like that. Maybe I think recently I picked up about 20 phone cases that were going out on special at clearance sale, and I was able to get them at 90% off. And so that was, that's an easy sale on eBay for me to double my money. And I'm always looking for things like that. So in the next video, we're going to explore more ideas and concepts behind growing a bankroll, growing your working capital, and putting your money to work for you. And these tools are going to come in very handy when we try to find products that we can market on the internet through the different types of marketing platforms. Anyway, if you like these videos and you like where they're going, do us a favor, share them and contact me. If this is something that you'd like to be part of, let's team up, let's do something. I'm down. I'm still trying to work this out, but I honestly believe that we can, if we get this right, we'll never have to work again. So that's where I'm heading, and I'm looking for people who want to jump in on that journey and become part of this, and I'm hoping that's you. So thanks for watching this. See you in the next video. My name's Anthony Reihana, and this is Ideas That Elevate on behalf of Yo2C and Reihana Whānau.